So how would digital technologies lead ISP transformation? To find an answer, please welcome now on stage the CTO of Huawei's European Enterprise Marketing and Solutions Sales Department, Mr. Alexander Maslo. Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here in Madrid on this amazing event. And as discussed, so my part would be now a little bit to look what all those amazing innovations, what we have heard today, increasing the amount of the subscriptions, amount of the optics, access, technologies, what all this brings to us as trends and as challenges and of course as opportunities, especially in the transformational phase for the ISPs. And I would like to start with a very general overview. What does it mean for building and operating of those networks for ISPs and for enterprises, right? So as we see more and more network deployments, of course, it means that the complexity of the deployments also rises. Amount of the networks, amount of the amazing applications that we have heard today from metaverse, from virtual reality, from immersive videos, right? It's everything introduces more complex installations, maintenance, and operations there. Moving forward, different teams who are building these different network layers and using and leverage them, of course, also introduce many challenges on how efficiently to coordinate with each other, how not only provision them, but also how to launch the applications, what kinds of policies should be implemented there. And last but not least, also the all standardization and interconnection of different vendors and different technologies that should talk to each other and collaborate between access stack, overlay stack, and also the whole applications and virtualization stack, right? So looking on the requirements that we see for the transformation of the ISP WAN networks, right? So we see three main movements out there. So number one is deployment and development of the users and applications that come in very, very quickly, rapidly, and we need to be prepared for that. To be able to achieve those growth numbers that we just saw in the presentations of the previous speakers. Number second is enterprise private lines, right? So private lines, as they were used for just increasing amount, increasing the bandwidth, are not suitable anymore. As we're looking on the efficiency of those lines, it's not necessary using in proper way, right? And the last, but probably one of the most important way, and I was really glad to look on all presentations today, the point about the talents that are going to operate and going to use those technologies and operate those networks, right? Becoming also very important as looking for some solutions for hours or for days sometimes for troubleshooting and managing those networks can become also very, very important, especially in today's infrastructure. And what we are doing to support this transition is introduction of our Cloud WAN vision of Huawei that based mainly on three main aspects. Simplified architecture, what we want to make simple in very, very complex network environments with many different components. We're thinking how can we simplify that, how can we make it more manageable, right? Number second is simplify networking. And here we are thinking about those different groups and different elements and different departments that are going to use those technologies, how they can more simply orchestrate and deploy those networks. And number three, of course, after deployment stage, what about operations and management? Is this different layers of access, of overlay, are they still kind of like black boxes completely separated and silent one from another? Or can they also be very transparently operated and seen by any application that is needed for that? So, and I would like to dive a little bit deeper into these three aspects on the examples of our three customers that were with us through this journey. And I would like to start with one traditional ISP from Asia. It has very, very traditional approach on having separate devices on the access level from separate brass with CGN, separate PEs, and that separate elements introduce, of course, challenges by each and every upgrade of the components, right? So we have upgrade in brass that means that we also need to think about other components. That means that we need to downtime. That means that we also need to have influence bandwidths and user subscriptions. So what we want to do is introduce all-in-one device, and that was launched by NetEngine 8000, that combines all the components, almost all the components, like 6 main functions for the network with this one simplified infrastructure to have it in one device, right? It is a brass, it is PE, it is CGN, it has capabilities of IPsec and SA. And what that gives to the ISPs, what that gives to our customers, right? It's first, of course, less devices, always good, less points of failure, less space that we need, less energy consumption, very important. But more important, of course, it's the user experience as, again, upgrade or any changes that we want to introduce, of course, have less failure potentially and less time that is needed to achieve that. Moving forward about the operations, and this is another customer that we have that has rapidly deployment of the digital infrastructure. Really, government organization have the need for introduction of connectivity to different departments and launch different applications. And traditional way of doing this to have another lease line, another connection, another connectivity point, another network at the end of the day, right? And of course, this multiple networks, many devices, many bills for different lines, and also different teams who are responsible for managing those different elements in terms of security, in terms of policies, and so on. So what we want to introduce here is to have shared line, but with very strict security-based slicing that can use the same hardware infrastructure and absolutely different logic, and provide the capability and the ability to those teams to manage that and provide security to all those different scenarios, different applications, and different cases that we have. Again, of course, the mathematics here is very clear. We want to lower the costs, both on the CapEx, on investment, on the deployment, as well as then operating of the system, as well, of course, making it more efficient, right? Really efficient and really decreasing this lower cost for whole licensing, for whole management system, for whole operating, and so on and so forth. Okay? Moving forward, last but not least, another case that we see now in Europe is introduction of new protocols, and this is a railway application. It's called Future Railway Management Communication System. And to deploy that in, as you can imagine, in any of European countries like France, like Germany, like Spain, it involves the whole upgrade of all those devices that need to be starting supporting those protocols to build the application operations for the railway, right? And you can imagine how much time we need to remove the device or upgrade the device, and multiply that by these hundred thousands of end devices. Those kind of projects taken normally years, right? So like and huge teams to make this happen, and afterwards to look how it operates and how it works, right? So what we want to achieve with this is to completely automate the way how devices are provisioned, right? And for this, we benefiting from the whole IPv6 and SRv6 technologies that can make provisioning of the devices, provisioning of the networks much quicker, easier. Introduction of application-based deployment of the devices, and at the end also make the whole visualization of our network, right? So removing those black boxes, at least for IP guys like me, that, okay, our access is okay, our devices are okay, the status are green, but nothing works. So like really moving forward to the way where we can really see all layers on one visual digital twin of this complex network environment. To make it all magic happens, of course, it's based on technologies that are brought to our products. And we are very happy to launch our NetEngine 8000 series. And more launches will come today as well. And very important here, that is one of the industry most compact devices. It is industry most performance devices on the amount of the port that we support in. And also very important, as you see here in red, it is upgradable device. So that means that our customers on ISP, on WAN operators, can start with 2 terabits, for instance, and then upgrade their investments. Again, thinking about efficiency of leveraging those devices, as well as, of course, upgrading them for the future use. We are really glad to serve our customers worldwide. Europe is a big, of course, region for us, but actually it's already more than 180 countries where we are serving our WAN solutions. We are happy to see those feedbacks from many public sector customers. And also from many different ISPs worldwide. We are very glad to see all those nominations and all those awards that we are getting from the industry leaders and industry organizations. The most recent one, 1 week ago, is Customer Choice Award by Gartner that was awarded our NetEngine 8000 series for that. We, as we have heard, are really committing to continue our R&D investment. As last year we hit the target of 25% of our revenue went to our R&D, and we will continue to do this. Thank you very much for your attention, and have great sessions.